The dogs are out, yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to Level Up with Dawn. Today we're doing a story time. I'm smiling because at the end it's a happy ending. Um, but it was hell. It was hell. Um, it was hell. I hated it. It sucked. I was so disappointed in general in just the professional landscape in this country. Um, but I think the one thing that I did learn is the the levels of desperation that are in our country right now can make you see some of the most ridiculous and some of the most unexpected things happen. So let's get into it, okay? In 2020, yeah, during the pandemic, right? I had an apartment that I had a tenant in. That tenant was struggling. They couldn't pay rent. I don't think they paid me rent for about 8 or 9 months. But also, we in the pandemic, okay? This was a mother with children. Um, and I was empathetic. I'm a mother with a child. She was also the breadwinner of her family, so I could understand, the pressures that she was under. And also at the time, like, I think for me, philosophically, I didn't want to evict people during the pandemic. Okay. And so like and I take the consequences of that. But everything else, I don't. Um, yeah, had this tenant. I think, in the end, I just decided I wanted to sell the property because it made sense. Like, of you guys know, I'll link the video of how I got, what was it, 6 properties by the age of whatever. Um, I'll link that video. In that video, I spoke about the fact that for my first property, I had to borrow my dad's credit score, and I borrowed it through buying a property with him. He was on the papers of everything, but all the responsibilities were mine. I paid the mortgage and I paid it off. Like, I ended up paying it off, and like the rental that I got, I went into there. I paid like levies, rates, taxes, those things. So that was great. Started the journey. It got me to where I am now. But then I was in a position where I needed to sell it. And it was the only property of mine that I had co-owned with my father. So I was like, okay, you know what? Actually, let's do this. Cause you know how it goes. Like, with the things of life, you like them to be as simple as possible. When I talk about things of life, I talk about wills, all those things, right? So to have this one property that's not fully in my name, and like there's another party being my father where it's up and down in terms of, not even it's up and down, like it will complicate matters in his estate and in my estate if anything happens to either of us, right? So I thought, let me sell this one to simplify my estate. And so now everything's in my name going forward. And also as I'm ramping up, obviously everything's going to be in my name because I have a credit score now. So I ventured to sell that property, and I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to use an auction house because I preferred the fee structure there. You pay for like an advertising thing, and then like it's actually the people the people who participate in the auction who have to like pay like percentages of upfronts and stuff to prove that they are able to actually buy the thing that they bid for. So yeah, I went to an auction house for that, and they marketed my property. They got an offer for it, an offer that I was willing to accept, and then it was now, taking it to the lawyers, conveyances, and whatnot. Um, I I didn't have any I didn't have any experience on the selling side of property transactions, right? So I didn't know like who's a good lawyer. I don't know. On the selling side, I mean, I guess it's all the same, right? But I was like, you know, you guys sell properties as a business auction house. So recommend me one of the lawyers you usually work with, because clearly they know how to do it if you keep having these transactions. So this person recommended me a lawyer. And I was so happy because he was a black man, a black lawyer. And I'm like, yes, you know, like support black businesses and skills. And that's also what like grinds me, like at the end of the day, but we'll get to it at the end. You know, support black businesses and skills. Sharp. So get the lawyer, you know, get the ball rolling, you know, the sellers, I know the buyers put in their money. Um, it's a one bedroom apartment in the CBD. So it wasn't like a high stakes apartment. So some people could realistically have saved enough to buy, you know. And from what I understood, the buyers, they tried to get a loan, they didn't get it, but they had the cash, so they bought it cash instead, right? And when it comes to selling, if you are the buyer, you need to put your funds into the lawyer's trust account, and that money gets held there until all of the admin of transfer is finished, and then that money gets sent over to the sellers slash settles the any loans that are with the bank. So yeah, they did their part, they paid their money in and whatnot, and then it got to a point where we were now, yeah, finalizing, getting ready to register and everything. There was a little bit of a hiccup at the deeds office the one time, which was like weird. I'm like, I've never seen a hiccup at the deeds office, but you know, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't say. Like, I haven't seen every single iteration of a property transaction. But yeah, there was a little hiccup, but we got over it and it was registered in March of 2021. 2021. March of 2021, it transferred, and I was no longer considered an owner of that property, right? So when that happens, like it's very quick, because with a trust account at the lawyers, there's interest earned on that money. Why? Because this money could be spent doing something else. Yeah, this money could be doing something else. So it's like they do have to monitor the opportunity cost of where this money is situated for the time that it's situated there. And so when things get transferred, money, when at least when the registration gets finalized, money needs to be transferred ASAP. Because then now they start owing you. They start owing you, like, you know, sold, give me my money. Here's now when things got interesting. So we get, I remember not the conveyancer. I never actually saw the conveyancer. When I went to the lawyer's office, I saw it was one of their legal assistants or paralegals who like took us through the docs, and we signed everything. Never saw the conveyancer, never saw him in person. And when it was time, they send you a statement of account to say, okay, cool, this is now property has been sold, it's worth this much, you got this much, maybe there's like petties that need to be deducted or whatever the case may be, and then they say, okay, this is what you're going to be getting. And I remember just taking it back to the auction piece of things, there's like the actual participants of the auction have to pay like a 15,000 rand deposit or something like that. And I think it goes to the auction house and they keep it, but then it has to come to me, because in total I have to get the sale price of what this property sold for. So the lawyer may only get like the sale amount less maybe a deposit that they had to place with the auction house, and then the auction house has to, you know, rectify that, or at least like give it to the lawyer or give it to me. I'm not sure what that process is. It never happened, so I still don't know what the real process is supposed to be. So yeah, they do the statement of account and it's missing like that 15,000 rand deposit. So I'm like, oh no, actually, like here is the offer to purchase. This is what I sold the property for. So please rectify that on your side. It took like, I don't know, it took maybe like a week, 2 weeks to even get like a response from the person who represented me at the auction to say like, hey guys, you guys have the remaining portion of this money, like what's going on. But very quickly, I'd say after those 2 weeks, we realized, okay, something's amiss, because there was like, we tried to get a hold of the lawyer, tried to get a hold of the office. Oh no, he's not in. Oh, he's not available. Blah 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 blah. And then I remember, I think my father found one Hello Peter review about this guy, and it was saying how he didn't pay them. He's like, they're not happy with the services. He didn't pay them their money. Blah 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 blah. And I remember I saw one review of him, and it was post all of this, where this guy was saying that like it took so long for them to get the money from the lawyer, they almost reported him to the Law Practice Council. Okay, this was after the fact. So I'm like, okay, but you didn't report him, so they gave you your money. Maybe there was a hiccup. I don't know. And I think I haven't been able to find that comment since, or that review since. Long story short, this conveyancer stole my money. I think I know the reason why they were able to do it is because this was going to be a bond transaction. It ended up being a cash transaction because the buyers were not able to secure the bond. And so now all of this cash is here, available. And so I think, or I suspect, that when the buyers were told, okay, pay into the lawyer's trust account, they weren't paying into the lawyer's trust account, they were paying into the lawyer's bank account. And so yeah, this guy, we've never heard from him since. He's been in the wind. He changed premises, he changed offices, he went to another office place somewhere else. He even I think he like disabled his business or something, and like redid a new business. Like, imagine my name is Dawn. Imagine I have Dawn Lawyers Incorporated, and then I dissolve it and I'm like, it's now Dawn Inc. Like something like that, to sort of like circumvent the liability. To circumvent the liability. I know, like in my heart, I know that's true. So yeah, he was doing like nyos like that. And so it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because, and like, I'll be frank with you guys, like my comment is, or my content is for people who want to invest. I'm a South African. I'm a Black South African. And also I live in a majority Black country. So I do know that like I'm probably majority talking to Black people in my content. Especially if we're talking about people who are building wealth. Because we know the dynamics. Like if you're talking about generational wealth, it's not usually Black people who have it, and I don't have generational wealth. I'm building generational wealth, so I would imagine that my content may resonate more in those spheres, and I think the demographics are what they are in those spheres. So it just breaks my heart, because that's like the whole point of why we have a philosophy of where we can support Black businesses and skills. And here I am supporting a Black skill, and this guy was like, you could Google him. I'll give you enough information for you to know who he is, probably. Like, but this guy, he was gonna go on Kaya FM. I think he went on Kaya FM talking about property. I remember during the time where I was like selling, like he was my conveyancing officer. He was going on Kaya FM, talking, property and stuff, and like the dynamics. So I was like, damn, this is nice, like it's nice that this auction house is supporting this lawyer. He's clearly like growing his business off of this, building a name for himself. That's great. But here you are, like being so short-sighted, and like not even want to just like put in the time. Like, you're a lawyer, you're a professional, like you literally have a professional degree. All you need to do is put in the time. Like, you do not need to thieve. It makes no sense. And like in law, like, you're a lawyer anyway. So yeah, dude ran off with my money. I always said the N word. Dude ran off with my money. Um, and now, like, what now? So now let's talk into what do you do if your lawyer steals your money? Because this is no longer considered a far-fetched scenario in this country, in this level of desperation, because clearly everyone's desperate, even the professionals, even the law, especially. Yeah. So within the law industry, there is a thing called the Fidelity Fund. And this fund, I understand that lawyers pay, or maybe law firms pay into this fund as a condition of membership, or, maintaining your license. I have no idea, but it sounds that way, in order to cover any liabilities that may crop up as a result of the lawyer doing their lawyeringness. So, in the ordinary course of business of a lawyer, if you get shafted in any way, that's where the Fidelity Fund comes in. So what we initially did, we reported him to the Law Practice Council, because the Law Practice Council, I think they have access, or they have records of all the trust accounts that these lawyers have. And also you have to be in standing with the Practice Council. Like, they need to know you exist. If you have a trust account, the Law Practice Council knows you exist and they know you're a lawyer. And so we reported it to him so that the Practice Council is like on alert, right? But also they were like, you know, I don't know, in the mix of things, I'll be honest, like, in the mix of things, these fidelity funds and law practice councils seemed very lax in the way that they were handling this. It didn't feel like it was urgent. It didn't feel like, it wasn't like a what, a lawyer disparaging our name, our community, we need to put a stop to this. Let's find this person and get your money back. It did not feel like that at all. It was like, it felt like the police, where it's like, yeah, crime is a fact of life type of thing. And after, like, over these past 2 years, because it's been 2 years, over these past 2 years, watching the news and whatnot, I think I've come to the realization that I was not the only one. They were probably being bombarded. And so it's like, they couldn't be like, what a unique instance, because it really and truly has not been unique. And so we first flagged it with them. Then we also put it to the Law Practice Council, or to the Fidelity Fund. So we wanted to now put in a claim with the Law Practice Council, because, no, pause. Then we wanted to put in a claim with the Fidelity Fund, because on the Fidelity Fund website, it's very clear on what you need to have a claim. You need to have been stolen, defrauded from, or any of those things. But it's through the actions of a lawyer, and those actions of that lawyer should be, it's like a thing of, the postman is supposed to deliver your mail. You understand that that is the function of a postman. In the process of a postman delivering you the mail, if the postman does something wrong, does something negligent, does something fraudulent, you are able to claim from the post office, because that act happened in the act of him delivering the mail, this act that he is prescribed to do, that he has to get a license to do. You're right. So put that in the context of a lawyer. That's how you establish a claim at the Fidelity Fund. So we did that, established a claim. The disappointing part, though, was that we had to investigate, find this person on our own. We had to like hire tracers and trackers to try and find this person, all of our own fees. We had to find we then, like, because we weren't able to find him like physically, right? And we weren't able to find him at his registered offices for his business. So what we had to do, we had to get like a sheriff to attach like I think it was like a demand or something like that to the premises to say, yes, we have delivered, to say you owe us money, please pay us back. And then they have like 30 days to respond or to rebut, or whatever the case may be. After that, then we went to the court and we got a default judgment. So a default judgment is when the judge says, okay, you laid this complaint, you've placed all this evidence, and in that default judgment, that's why we had to do all this investigation. We had to prove that we tried to find him. We had to prove that we tried to find his assets. We had to prove that we tried to find my money, and then and have all that evidence to say, and also like the whole thing of, we sold it, it was for this much, this is what happened, blah 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 blah, it's registered, it's no longer in my name, so it's like I am entitled to money. Like there's no such thing as I just donated this property to some random people who bought it from me. Like, I don't know you from anything. I did not donate that property to you. Like, money is owed to me. And I also had to prove I hadn't received money, so I had to like show like bank statements, like saying, look, there's no cash that's coming here, So yeah. So yeah, we got that default judgment, and up until that point, the Fidelity Fund was like, okay, cool, get us the default judgment, and we're good to go. We got them the default judgment like last year. Last year, yes. It's so like we got the default judgment last year, probably I'd say latest August, October. Like, you can Google it if you wanted. And so by then, it should have been done. But and like, the money should have been paid. But I only got the money this year in April. So that's what? That's a full, so from March 2021, 18 March 2021, when it was registered, I got my money, let's say like 1st of April 2024, from the fund, because they finally agreed. I think it was maybe last month in March, maybe end of Feb, they sent us a thing saying that the claim has approved the payout. So all in all, what ended up happening is they did approve the payout. The good thing is they are also going to reimburse costs. They're also going to reimburse costs for all the money spent for hiring the lawyers, hiring tracers and trackers, investigating, all of these things, sheriff things, like all those things. They're going to repay it. And also on their website, they do stipulate that from the date that you claim, that you place your claim, or that your claim is valid, up until the point that they pay you your money, there's interest. I haven't received my interest yet, but it's coming. They're calculating it. And that's 2 years. That's a strong fixed deposit, if I say so myself. Okay. But yeah, they're still calculating the interest. They're going to pay the lawyer's fees. But I think, I'd like to just end this video off more on a cautionary, prepare yourself note, because as much as there are avenues for justice when it comes to these things, the wheels are so slow. And it's so sad, because I remember in this year, in all of this, in the midst of all of this, I saw an article about how the Fidelity Fund had to be, I think, like forced or compelled or something like that to pay funds for children with, I think, cerebral palsy who are in assisted care or assisted living. They had to be forced to pay the claim out to them so that their expenses could be covered because a lawyer defrauded those kids and like like defrauded like stole their money from the trust that's supposed to be taking care of them. So already I knew, I was like, okay, like, you telling the insurance company, you forcing the insurance company to pay the claim that they agree you have a claim for. It's, it's a tough situation. Like, bureaucracy is what it is. But I would say, like, if you are going into selling property, if you are going into buying property, because at least on my side of things, I am the seller, right? And so I had the benefit of previously owning this property, proof that I owned it, proof that registration moved over, and so a transaction happened. And I'm owed something as a result of that. I think it could have been much more difficult if the buyers got defrauded, or if the buyers ended up not, because I think that was like one of the questions that I had for quite a while. Like, we had to just like go to the and like confirm on LexisNexis, like, is this still in my name? Like, did they lie when they say they transferred the property? Who did they steal from? Did they steal from the buyers or did they steal from me? Like, that was a question. But yeah, please, if you ever find yourself in this situation, and I find it so difficult because this is a low stakes property. It's not a little money. Like, any property costs a lot of money to buy. However, it's like, I'm fortunate because at least I had my dad to help me. He also, could be able to help me with the cost of finding a lawyer while we sorting all of this out for the fund to eventually pay him back. But who, like, is like, if this was your life savings, if that 400,000 was your life savings and you get defrauded by a lawyer, like, how do you even have the money to even begin try and fight this thing? And so I think, I just wanted to have this video out here to highlight these avenues to you guys. There's the Law Practice Council, there's the Fidelity Fund, but I'd say go straight to the Fidelity Fund. Like, first thing, get that claim established so that your interest starts counting, okay? Because I don't know, hopefully they improve their methodology. Hopefully, they improve their systems in there. But I feel like these situations are very cut and dry. Like, it's easy to say, did the lawyer steal from me or not? Like, there was absolutely no reason why we had to wait all this long to get this money. Because I think, I know personally, I felt like we were being tossed as the police, the investigators, and like the prosecutors, because like we are private individuals finding this person, tracing assets, like proving claims in the legal system. So yeah, be careful out there, please. If you are buying property or you're selling property and it is a cash transaction, I would say, please, 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 before you even enter into signing anything, I think they should say, like, they should be able to tell you who the lawyers are and whatnot. Google those people, vet those people, like, Google reviews, hello Peter, whatever you can do, to make sure that, number one, they've proven themselves to be people of integrity. Because unfortunately, lawyers are put in a position of assumed integrity, and so that's how we get into these positions in the first place. Because it's assumed you're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. Like, you're a lawyer. So yeah, it's assumed, and that's exactly how people get stolen from. There's this common misconception amongst in property or in the world of investing, that nothing can go wrong with property. And I don't want to come onto my channel and I guess like disparage property as an investment vehicle, because obviously, like, that's my horse. But I do want to give you guys more realistic information around what it is like on the ground to be a property entrepreneur. So I really hope this video helped. If you guys are going through anything similar and you have any questions, pose them, maybe I can help you, help direct you somewhere, or maybe I can, like, from my perspective, I can say, oh, did you do this? Did you do that? Please put it in the comments. I don't know. I really hope that the bodies within this profession can speed up their processing times, but more importantly, I hope that the professionals in this profession can help to weed out the bad actors, because it's left a very sour taste in my mouth. And this is where I go back to the whole black businesses and skills thing. I am now in a position where, I mean, I'm a property investor, I'm a property entrepreneur. I will not stop buying properties. Also now, I think I'm not opposed to selling, but I know now, like, the conditions under which I'll sell. But I'm not opposed to selling. I mean, I've sold, but I now, I'm like, going forward, I only want to work with the lawyers that I've already worked with. So I've already, like, I know, like, there's one that I know in my neighborhood, well, in my suburb, city, that I've worked with before. And they're not black owned. They're not black owned. I was really hoping to find a black skilled professional that I could have on retainer and, like, always feed transactions to, but I guess it didn't work out that way. And I think it's like, even like all of those things aside and redress aside, you know, the bigger message here is a lot of these things take time. Even in my journey to building generational wealth, I don't think it's going to be an overnight thing. I don't think it's going to be devoid of situations that I would have rather preferred to not get into. And also that I just didn't even get into through my own action. Like, I didn't do anything wrong to land here, yet I landed here. So it's like, it's just I really hope that this channel can be a sober yet hopeful documentation of what it's like to grow within this space and to grow as an investor and to be a more hands on the ground type of investor. One thing that I did learn, there's quite a few people who are like they property investors, they consider themselves property investors, but the majority of their investments are through real estate investment trusts. And that's very different because you do not have a hand in the managing. I don't think you would even you don't all you do is collect money at dividend time. Like, you don't really have a lot of sight of the risks that do exist within this realm. That's also another option. I mean, it's something that I've diversified into too. But also REITs are in a landscape of their own, and we can talk about that in another video. But yeah, I hope this video helped. I knew I was only going to post this video once I got my money. I've been wanting to film this obviously for the past 2 years because I want to, like, warn you guys, be careful. Yeah, just be safe out here, guys. People are desperate, and it's not just the poor, okay? It is professionals, it is people who are clinging onto, holding on to whoever, whatever drones they were trying to keep up with, and, like, artificially inflating their status through illegal means just to look a certain way. So watch out, guys. People are not, don't assume just because the status quo did it for you, you know. Um, it brings me to, I'm like rambling, but I really want to add this in. It brings me to like I did a course in university called evidence-based management. At the time I thought, oh, you know, those first year courses that you never like that you're never gonna use. That is the one course that I use consistently in my life, and I'm gonna use it for the rest of my life. Well, we learned about logical fallacies, and one of the biggest fallacies that I see play out very often is appealing to authority. We look at people in certain positions and we give them the benefit because of the authority that they've gained through their studies or through whatnot. But I think this experience was sobering in that fact to say, at the end of the day, we're still dealing with humans. So yeah, if you like this video, please like this video. Like this video to give me support. Like this video to retroactively give me support for the past 2 years I've been through trying to find this criminal. Um, but please do subscribe to the channel, and like look out for more videos on investment, property, business, entrepreneurship. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's a happy ending because the fund does exist. Um, and as long as you have a legitimate claim, you'll get your money. It's just the timing of things, and that's where you get screwed over, right? Like these delays feed into other things of life. You know, for the past 2 years, that was capital that wasn't gaining me any money. That used to be rental income. I didn't get that rental income. It could have been hard cash that I had invested somewhere, put it in like penny stocks that like shot up, and I didn't, you know. So there's still costs to this. But yeah, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.